Bitcoin's getting kicked in the butt right now, and so your altcoins. Shoot. Bitcoin's kicking. No, not that either. Buttcoin is. No, not Buttcoin. Bitcoin's getting kicked in the butt right now, and so your altcoin. So here's the question. When does the butt kick and stop? All right, let's dive in the charts and find out the most probable scenarios. You are staring at Bitcoin on the 8-hour chart currently, and I have drawn in EMAs from different time frames. As you can see, they are very clearly labeled. So the lines that I have drawn in are EMAs, and so these are very likely going to be bounce points if Bitcoin keeps falling, right? And so will that be the ultimate low? Well, the chance of one being an ultimate low with a wick past it is very high, but it'll likely coincide with horizontal. So if you are new to crypto and you've fallen on this this video because you see that Bitcoin is falling, you recently have gotten into crypto and what you just bought because you're new is going down. You don't know how to set up a chart. You need to. So there's going to be a link popping up here really quickly. So it's about a 45-minute video that shows you how to set up a chart just like mine, Buttcoin, set up a chart just like mine. You need to do that because you honestly don't even need to be clicking around with your money if you don't know how to look at a chart, because you're going to buy things that YouTubers talk about and they only talk about it when it's time to sell. That's why they talk about it. So you need to learn how to set up a chart so you can identify who's full of a bunch of crap and chillers out of here. So click that, new viewers, and let's dive back into this. Okay. And not just new viewers, but new people to crypto who are new viewers as well. All right, so let's dive in to what is happening right now. Bitcoin let's even go lower time frame. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Bitcoin is having a pretty good buyback off of that red dashed line, which is the weekly 10. So is this the ultimate low? It is possible. And if it is, and you look at what might be considered whale games, if this is, it looks kind of like natural price action, really. But if you try to think like a whale in this point, if you assume, okay, there's a chance that this is a natural price action, even though it looks pretty natural to me as of now. But what are they doing, or what are they doing? What would be the logic behind a whale, suppressing the price of Bitcoin if that's what's happening? I'm not claiming that's what's happening specifically, but a lot of people saw that there was a very established range within Bitcoin here, okay, around 58, actually not that low, about 58K right here with these wick lows. So a lot of people would be trading this range and longing at the bottom, taking on longs, or using that bottom range here to determine to take on longs with their altcoins, which honestly is how I do things too. When I think Bitcoin's at a great lower level, I would at that point, enter longs on the altcoins that I want to long, assuming their behavior is similar to Bitcoin, and I think it'll bounce up. So what this could be is, if it is a whale game and what are they thinking, try to anticipate that, is, okay, well, let's let them get that. Oh, and let's fake them out. Let's get them out of those longs. So, exchanges save money, but there's also liquidity down there, stops, all that stuff, so they can grab them, right? And then run it the other way, and those whales would be making money off of having taken longs around here, or even over here before driving price up, right? So get longs out of position, and it baits people to short here too. So if this line is broken, people actually, especially this line, so closing a 4-hour candle below this horizontal will initiate a bunch of shorts. Right. And so if this is, whale thinking, which again, I am not claiming that it is necessarily, but if it were, the idea behind it, if you're thinking like a whale, is, all right, let's set up a 4-hour candle closure below this horizontal. People take on shorts. As they're shorting, that will allow us to take on more longs before we run it the other way. And therefore, the longs we take on as we do that will be making money. Right. However, so why I think this might be more natural price action is because, no. I apologize. An argument against the idea that this is natural price action is 2 times in a row, BTC, so before a dip, Bitcoin shorts in just a few hours went up 100% right before the last dip. And I gave my community alert about this, went up 134 right at this dip. So if that is supporting the idea that this is whale games, and really, if whales weren't in this, Bitcoin would be charging up because the market's hot, and retail investors and institutions who aren't playing whale games are bullish on this asset. If that, it kind of supports that. So you have to be thinking like a whale as a possibility here, right? Now, so I'm going to show you it's possible that if this is all algorithm based, right, and price is being managed to a certain degree, there's really something interesting in the charts related to this previous formation. So before we get into there, though, I want you to flip your phones or get flipped off. Hey, Tim, what does that mean? That means literally flip your phone vertically so that you can hit the like button. And also, while it's still vertical, what's going to help me out even more, if you leave a quick comment, even if it's a period without the tampon, you yell your favorite type of shoe or purse. Guys are like, what? And yeah, women, ladies, yeah, tell me your favorite brand of shoes or purse or belts, whether it's a Gucci belt, because my wife has been really angry about the idea that I haven't gotten her a Gucci belt yet. It's like, no, I'm a tightwad. I don't want to do that. Anyway, leave me a quick comment and also smash that bell. New viewers, if you like what you see so far, hit subscribe. Make sure the bell is hit, because this is time sensitive information, and that's going to help me help you have a more profitable crypto journey. We're in it together. Hit that bell. Let's get back onto the charts. Okay, check this out. Watch. If this were to dip just like the last dip, the level would be the weekly 21 EMA, almost exactly where the end of that box is. So when you have a weekly EMA or a very strong EMA aligned right with the horizontal support, I'm not saying price is necessarily attracted into it, right? But it has a strong bounce point. So that dip makes sense if you copy and paste it onto the current dip. But here's the weird thing in terms of, is that going to happen or not? Well, if this is an algo run show, so if the first half were pretty damn similar, what are the chances of the second half being pretty damn similar? So just be very careful. This could come down and hit that weekly 21 or even dip below it a little bit, tag 50K on a wick. So, and it could recover very violently and very quickly, back into a 65K area range, and then break out in January. So this might not be a hot December either if that were to happen, because that would take you to December 1st. You would need time to recover or make a slightly higher high, but just blast it off to 90K it's not in the cards right now. It might not even be in the cards for December. So something really good would have to happen, like a price jumping back before the end of this month, back into 65K, filling this out a little bit more. That would make it possible. And that it only has 2 weeks to do that. That would make it possible for 90 plus K Bitcoin in December. But I mean, just look what's going on right now. I mean, it looks eerily similar to this. And if that were to play out, 90K Bitcoin in December would still have a strong chance. It would be double digits chance of happening, but you would know the chance of it depending on how quickly, if that were to happen, Bitcoin can come back here and fill out the range. If it takes till December 10th to fill out a little bit of time here, right, or even to get above here, I mean, it's not going to happen. It just won't happen, right? So don't be too scared about that. Your altcoins would be massively on sale. If you're already fully engaged in crypto, you don't have any tether. I mean, it'd be a good time to try to scrape something, not financial advice, but in my opinion, I would throw capital outside of crypto into it to try to catch some things on sale, with the strong assumption that all the YouTubers out there talking about double tops, that it's going to tank to 10K or whatever, assuming that is not even probable enough to be focusing on as a subject matter, like maybe closing a week below 40. Let's see, where are the weekly horizontals here? Closing a weekly candle below here, yeah, okay, then you can talk about that was a double top. But there's like, if you see anybody talking about double tops and 10K or 20K Bitcoin again before a weekly closure below here, or before it's close, right, anticipating, well, if it goes, then talk about 10K, okay, that's reasonable too. So I guess it would be reasonable to talk about it at, if Bitcoin approaches this level before a weekly closure. But that would be the idea. If weekly closure here, then 20K Bitcoin is a possible topic. So don't be, frightened from those YouTubers. It shouldn't even be being talked about until price gets somewhere close to 43K, right? It's just literally a waste of time. for the most part. And, and it might be folks out there trying to, make a big call and say, oh, I'm right. And, get a good following because of that. Kind of like Plan B's success with 3 months in a row, calling the closing of a monthly candle. That was pretty impressive, even though the streak is ending now, obviously, but maybe not obviously, but it's got a 5% chance of holding up or less. So don't be scared about that. But do be aware that the weekly 21 is totally in play, and a wick pass would be 50K per my previous warnings on it. I even made a YouTube video. It's the one with the balloon on it, the yellow balloon. So if you want to check out why I was thinking that well before the drop, you might want to go back. Actually, I'll go ahead and link that here. If you want to watch that video on how I knew that it was a strong probability before this ever happened, before anybody was really talking about it, you can go ahead and click this link that's popping up right here. All right. So what are the probabilities though? Like, where is it going to stop? I mean, you can simply do something like look at the strength of each of these horizontals. So I think that this horizontal right here's I just feel this is a little weaker because this is not where price turned on a dime. This is more like a middle area. And and there's not much happening here either. So I would say that the daily 89, if we can zoom in here, daily 89 in this box would be out. So if the weekly 10 can't hold up, I think this box in the weekly 21 would be your most likely next target, and that is between 52 and 53 roughly. But if it went down there, you'd probably get a wick below to 50K first. And so you can see how that box is formulated with this, which I said it's more important. So EMAs that create rejection and or horizontals are more important when things turn on a dime in a macro or a mid-size move, right? So here's the exact point that price turned on a dime in a mid-size move, right? So price turned on a dime for a mid-size move. So and it turned on a dime up here and went to that box, right? You see that? So even though this section down here, if that broke down in the 49K range, it has more activity with, things turning on a dime it didn't have more, but it also has some turn on a dime type of activity, which makes this a really strong horizontal as well. So unfortunately, this next horizontal is not very strong, but the next two down are. And so that means the strongest thing we have right now is both the horizontal that Bitcoin's in and the weekly 10. So what you want to see here, if you draw these on your chart, you can go down to something like the 1 hour. You don't want to see price close even hourly candles much below this bottom line here because it already checked the 10. Hopefully that gives it enough, brings in enough buyers, but you don't want candles closing below this blue line, which is coming in at 57, let's say 57,500 or so. So you don't want even hourly candles closing below there. And your warning shot for that is if you draw in the daily 55 EMA, which I have here in blue, what you're going to see here, similar to my Trias video when I said, hey, if you draw in the 8 hour 21 EMA, the price will be in trouble. You'll know it's in trouble when the 1 hour goes below it. But with the 8 hour 21 EMA drawn in for the 8 hour chart, go down to the 1 hour. If 1 hour goes below there and uses as resistance, that's bad. So draw in your 55 EMA. If price uses as resistance and closes another candle, either below the weekly 10 or 57.5, that's bad. Like shit is going to go down lower. It's going to scream down to the daily 89 and wick past and maybe bounce. But that likely wouldn't even hold up. In the end, you'd probably get a bounce from there, but I'm telling you, it's going to scream down to there. It's going to hit 55K real fast. I mean, it could be in 2 to 3 hours. It could be very, very, very fast. And this is how it will look like. You will see hourly candle rejections if you draw on the daily 55. And you will have, time to say, oh, crap, I just saw a closure there. We got rejection here. It's coming down. The likelihood of that exactly playing out exactly how I'm showing you, the likelihood's pretty high. I guess a second scenario could be another way it might play out if Bitcoin does head down and, the relationship of price within this, this EMA, this box. A second one is it really does get past there. It gets rejected by something up here, maybe around 60K. And then you break back below the 55, then use it as resistance. And then when you close a candle, you say, uh-oh. So either way, it still uses the 55 as resistance before heading down, regardless of a pump or not. And a pump actually above it could easily happen. But if it fails to use it as resistance, then closes a candle below 57.5, that's going to be bad. Your next target's going to be about 55K, a wick below, like maybe, around 54.5. You're going to get a wick below here, middle to this box. Price is going to try to, dance around the 89, maybe try a recovery, but then it's probably ultimately going to head lower if it does hit this. So like an if daily 89 hit, then probability of bounce, but also probability of lower of about 52K, 51K Bitcoin, right? So, but that's the one of the two most probable forms that you're going to see it. So I strongly suggest go to your weekly chart, right? Weekly chart, put on your 10 EMA, draw over it with that path tool. So the path tool looks like this, where my cursor is, right? Draw that in, draw on your daily 55 and make your, make a line or a box, whatever you want to do, but make sure your line is somewhere around 57,500. Those are the three things you want to be looking at. All right. So 55, so 50, let's call it actually 57,600. So you want to draw your 57.6 line, your weekly 10, daily 55, whether it's a pump above the 55 or no pump above the 55. What you're looking for is rejection and a 1 hour candle closure on the 1 hour chart below here. It's going to initiate some nasty stuff. Now, if it gets rejected, heads back down, closed candle. Could it bounce off the 10 again and try it again? Yeah, but if it does it twice and there weren't enough buyers the first time, I don't know why enough buyers would step in the second time. I don't think it would hold up the second time. I think it would, fly back down below it. So, and I'm not going to look at Ethereum or Cardano in this video because Ethereum led Bitcoin down, but now since it's kind of reset itself, it's Bitcoin's show right now. Bitcoin is essentially controlling the price of your alts. Whatever's happened to Bitcoin is going to affect pretty much. I know there are a few coins. I know you can't see my chart, but there are a few coins out there like Algorand, Alice is doing really well, and YGG is doing really well. But there are almost always a few exceptions within a down move market. But Bitcoin, is going to be the master key to your altcoin performance over a little bit. So I strongly suggest drawing in those lines in addition to the weekly 21 EMA, right? So you'll get a bounce here, but the daily 89 is not quite as important because first off, that EMA is not quite as important as the 55, the weekly 10, or the weekly 21 anyway, and this box is less important than the other two boxes. So more important boxes, more important EMAs, less important box, less important EMA. Therefore, with that logic flow, it's unlikely that it holds up, although it could be a bounce. Does that make sense? So draw these in for me, help me help you. I really want you to draw these in. And even if you're not trading, they're like, hey, Tim, why should I do that if I'm not trading? Well, I mean, if you study how price moves and you do this kind of stuff, and you're just, you're hodling right now or not trading very much, it's still good to know how price moves. It's still fun to watch it. And it helps you understand, okay, these are the expectations that I could have for my altcoins. Like, well, why is I didn't expect Trias to go. I get it. But if you do this stuff, then you would be expecting those potential points on Trias, right? Like hitting the weekly 10, like I said, would be a down point. I'm a downside target for it, which is a big move down, like $14 or something, right? So even if you're a hodler, you're not trading much, it's important to do this stuff, I promise you, because it just emotionally and your expectations of what your altcoin's going to do, which your disappointment / emotions are caused by not having correct expectations, right? So if you already had the expectations, then you won't be disappointed. You won't be, I didn't expect it, right? So, but I will take a quick look at Ethereum to see if there are any obvious bounce points for it. It's got an origin line right there, and it's a really powerful one, and it's got a horizontal. That could be the bounce, actually. That's a pretty solid bounce point. You know what? I might take back what I said earlier. Ethereum might actually help this bounce a little bit. That's a pretty solid bounce point. A wick past this origin line, which I have it highlighted wider than this dotted one for a reason. It's more important. Plus, this is an insane horizontal. It hit this box perfectly between so the daily candle bodies and the candle wick. It just perfectly went there, right at the candle bodies. Could be the bounce. So I would say, even though it looks like it's a similar algo setup to the last move up from 29K to 46 or so, and that in and of itself gives it a strong chance of Bitcoin heading down to the weekly 21. But Ethereum saying, I think Ethereum's case is adding to the likelihood that this is the low this is like a macro low, or maybe a mid macro low. And Bitcoin has actually, I honestly think now might be the most probable bounce point. I would say the second most probable bounce point for Bitcoin would be the 21 EMA down there, and the third most probable would be the bounce point in the middle. That I said is the least likely for a bounce point is the daily 89, but a wick below would take it to 54K, right? So those are my probabilities. Like I promised you, butt kicking for Buttcoin. Buttcoin getting its butt kicked right now. That's those are the probabilities. So, don't just leave here without drawing those EMAs on there. All right. You need to get used to looking at Bitcoin as your primary indicator. I promise. All right. So, hey, new viewers, in about 5 seconds or so, there are going to be 2 videos popping up here, and they both could drastically change how you feel and how you interpret how price moves. It's going to make price movements make so much more sense. So it's not so foreign to look at a chart. And what does that mean for you? You'll make more money in crypto. So they should be popping up right about now. And hey, smash like and flip your phone vertically, flip your phone or get flipped off. Leave me a quick comment before you get out of here. It's going to help me continue making more videos for you. And if you're already subscribed, make sure that bell's, and I promise, just take a look. Is it on? Is it on? I'll wait. All right, it's on. Great. So that's going to help you walk through a more profitable crypto journey because it's time-sensitive information. And y'all just got timified. Stay safe. Stop playing around with freaking high leverage. Stay safe.